What is up, RotoGrinders? Happy Monday. 2 hours of nonstop MLB DFS conversation starts right now, taking you all the way up the lock, all the way up the first pitch. I believe first pitch tonight is 7:10 on the East Coast. Yes, 7:10 on the East Coast. Two different slates tonight. FanDuel, for whatever reason, did not include the latest game. It's very odd because it's kind of a break in the slate, right? 8:40 is the Arizona and Colorado game on the East Coast. We'll talk about that one a lot. Very, very clearly, the Diamondbacks are the offense that are going to be the most popular. They are super pricey. We do live in the world of a salary cap. We're going to have that conversation. But FanDuel included Chicago and the Angels at 9:38 on the East Coast. Did not include the game that started 2 minutes later, the Astros and the Padres, starting at 9:40 on the East Coast. So 9-gamer on DK, 8-gamer on FanDuel. The Arizona lineup is already out. Ketel Marte, Carroll, Peterson, Walker, Pavin Smith, McCarthy, Suarez, Moreno, and Perdomo taking on Senzatella, who's throwing baseballs professionally for the first time this year, coming back from his Tommy John. Do you want to say what's up to the chat? Chat, hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn on those notifications. It is a movie Monday. Get excited about that. Get yourself a week free of RG Premium. Several people won themselves some RG Premium this weekend. In the Listener League, we had Oak Zoo. Shout out to Oak Zoo, the NFL Listener League. I believe that is a month for that contest. Producer Devin was trying to find you, trying to track you down and hook you up if you happen to be out there listening. In some capacity, track down Devin. Let him know that I think he's trying to find you in the Discord channel, as well as Freebie Friday. Friday, we typically give out a free piece of content. What we did this last Friday was run a contest, and the winner was B-Hand 4987. By the way, shout out to Stevie finishing second in that Listener League, and I finished fifth, so shout out to B as well. There you go. A little pat on the back. It is Kirkwood, Kirk Dees, aka Kid Yahoo, aka Leader of the Juggalos. Kirkwood, happy Friday. No, I said Friday earlier. It's Monday.
It's all a big Friday? Blur. It's a big blur, man.
In our world, though, aren't every day is kind of sort of somewhat the same to some degree. But we don't really have the Monday to Friday grind. Yeah. There's football tonight. That's Monday.
There's nothing like NFL Sunday that throws a wrench in everything.
Yeah, NFL Sunday. How did it? Should I ask? Is it a bad idea?
No, as horrible as you can do it. So, and then not only that. So when I bust, I'm at the point now where I am sick of Squirrel Patrol winning $200,000, and I just get extremely jealous. Because I tried the Galaxy Brain yesterday. And I didn't even need to. I Galaxy Brain. So on Yahoo, I should have just smashed everything because I literally all I had to do was just take Cleveland Browns over the Washington Commanders, which I did, and outscore the defense because there was an insanely chalk build. But the insanely chalk build had Marvin Harrison Jr.
He was $14 on Yahoo.
Yeah. So I Galaxy Brained. I was like, if I go down to Fields from Mahomes, which was fine, right? I can get up to Cooper Kupp because the chalk was CD, Debo, and Marvin Harrison, and then it was McBride at tight end. But if I went down to Mahomes, went down at tight end, I could get Cooper Kupp, right? And so I was like, all right, Cooper Kupp versus Marvin Harrison Jr., give me that all day. And I was like, and I didn't need to. I was stupid. So I shot myself in the foot. On DraftKings, my main lineup for GPP, my cash lineup bombed. Which I had the same chalk build as everybody did, but the one that bombed. And then
3 Rams was. I don't know if you want 3 Rams.
Yeah, 3 Rams. It was the 3 Ram build.
Bad idea.
Three Rams. They told us 3 Rams. They said
3 Rams too many. I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I had Neighbors and I played Daniel Jones, even though the country club kid at my thing, I was like, all right, I'm going to plan this 1 week and in my GPP main line and with Neighbors and great. But unfortunately I had a bunch of crap. I had Cooper Kupp in that lineup too. And
he got hurt.
And Alvin Kamara was just an absolute joke. It was just, everyone was just like, okay, pile it on. It was. So I felt good about having the right idea.
I had some tomorrow. 4 touchdowns, 4 or 3?
I had the right idea. Right idea, but wrong execution. But anyway, so we're back. So we'll start it off tonight. We'll win. We'll get on our winning streak tonight.
For baseball, and of course, there's Showdown later. There should be a Showdown show, I presume, around 7:40-ish. Maybe producer TJ can chime in, let us know in the chat what time that show is going down. But pretty much every single Showdown. What do we got, TJ?
7:40 with Chop and Squirrel.
There you go. Squirrel, he makes $200K. Well, he won a $200,000 contest. He's still showing up for work on Monday. He has an article out there for premium. I saw for the Showdown slate as well. Philadelphia and Atlanta. Kirk Cousins, is he immobile? We'll see tonight, I suppose. By the way, in chat, Kirkwood, people are giving you props for recommending. Daniel saying shout out to Kirkwood for recommending Owning Mahoney, the Philip Seymour Hoffman, the PSH movie. Several people are confirming that they like that movie. Yeah, good. Based on a true story, the Canadian gambler who worked at a bank and lost a bunch of money. I can't remember.
Character played by the ultimate, the degenerate actor, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah,
and it's like no one ever heard. Here's it. Like it's a movie that like totally I never heard of. I think you.
It's a low budget.
No,
no.
One of my good friends recommended it to me, and I watched it and I was blown away.
Yeah, he also has have you ever seen Hard 8 before, which is Paul Thomas Anderson's first movie? He made, he was like 24, which is amazing. Philip Seymour Hoffman has one scene in it where he's at a casino being a jerk, playing craps, I believe. I'm not sure if you've ever checked that out, but if you're a fan of Paul Thomas Anderson, certainly worth with Paltrow. It's got Samuel Jackson, John C. Reilly. Okay. It is a movie Monday, so let's go ahead and give out the first clue for Movie Monday. You guys know how this works at this point. We're in month 6 of rolling this out there. Get yourself a week free of RG Premium. Tell me what movie I am talking about. You have one guess per clue drop. Where do you put your guesses? I mean, you can get your reps in the YouTube. They don't count if you make it in the YouTube. Good try, good effort. But to make it official, you got to get your guesses in the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord, in the live stream chat channel. Clue number 1 for Movie Monday is Bond. Bond is clue number 1. There you go. If you know what clue this is, if you know the name of the movie, by all means, fire away. Be first. You got to be first.
How could anyone get it off of the? No, there's zero chance anyone gets it after the first.
I mean, it's possible, but it's almost like Kirkwood. It's almost like I don't want them to get it in the first guess.
Yeah, I know. And you just like you won't. You made the board today, and you won't show me pre-show what the board is. It's like,
well, I mean.
You love to hold out on these things.
I tried to bring you in, and you weren't available to be in. I tried to bring you in, but unfortunately, understandably so. But
James Alheimer is saying, I was laughing so hard yesterday at Kirby's Yahoo lineup. I've got more money in my Yahoo account than you've probably made in your entire life. And if you want to play a head-to-head, I will play you any day, anywhere, anytime. Let's go. Like, big talk.
Heads up for rolls. Is that what that is?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
Do you know this guy, or is this?
No, I have no idea who he is, but big talker.
I mean, look, you're gonna. How long have you been doing this for?
Made $1 million on that site.
You have, I think, several people have joined together and are deciding to troll you today for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on, but you had a bad week in football. I've had bad weeks. We've all had bad weeks. You've been doing this for 10 years or so. To pretend like that doesn't happen, pretty silly. But you got to keep us updated here. Let's see. Send out the invite. Up to 10K. How much are we willing to go, Eric Kirkwood?
Oh, they have up to 10K there. Let's do it. I'll do it.
All right, there you go. I
could have played the chocolate. I could have played the Marvin Harrison lineup. It's not like I didn't know about it. I made a decision.
You could have hit optimize too.
Yeah.
That's what you wanted to do. All right. Did anybody guess? Now, let's see if anybody actually guessed it. I don't think so. No, it's not Jackie Brown. Awesome movie. It's not Civil War. It's not Logan Lucky. That's Finding Forrester. That's a spectacular movie. It's not Finding Forrester. Some good guesses being thrown out there. Not The Fan, starring Robert De Niro and Wesley Snipes. Baseball movie. Have you ever seen that one? Okay. Speaking of baseball, let's go ahead and talk about tonight's slate. Tonight's slate, it is pretty straightforward, right? We have an hour to talk about the 9-gamer, good pitching, and one really, really good hitting spot. There is one team that is a team total above 6. There is one team that is a team total above 5. That's the same team. It's the same team. Every other team is a team total below 5. Of course, the Arizona Diamondbacks, one of the best offenses in baseball, in the best ballpark in baseball, facing a pitcher who has not thrown baseballs the entire season in the major leagues. Just coming back from Tommy John, wasn't good in the minors either, wasn't good last year. That's Antonio Senzatella, probably not going to pitch a ton. The other thing is that I'm always concerned about bullpen stuff. Arizona, pinch hitting. There's only one lefty in that Colorado bullpen, Kirkwood. He's worked like 3 of the last 6 days or something like that. He probably pitches today just because there's Carroll and there's Peterson, there's Pavin Smith, there's McCarthy. The one guy that I'm somewhat concerned about because they don't let him hit against lefties often is Peterson. But I think there's just, he's going to face 3 guys maybe if he comes in. Pavin Smith, maybe another potential pinch hit guy. Like they probably bring him in around Peterson, Smith, McCarthy, that kind of thing. We'll see. It's hard to predict such things, but generally speaking, I'm not that frightened about pinch hit stuff because there's only one lefty for Colorado. And again, they don't really care about winning anyway. If they did, they'd probably have more than one lefty in their bullpen. As far as pitching, Kirkwood, most popular pitcher currently on the board, ownership-wise, is Manaea. Sean Manaea has been really strong of late. Good matchup there against Washington. Reed Detmers has been incredible since coming back from the minor leagues. The strikeouts have been really, really strong. They were excellent in the minor leagues, and they've been great since coming up to the majors. Facing the Dodgers, facing real live, actual good baseball players. The price is still really good, 7-7. I think he's my favorite pitcher today on DK. We saw 8 strikeouts versus Minnesota as well. So 18 in his first 2 starts, like 30 in his last 3 in the minors. He's been striking out the world of late. I feel like the price is not really caught up with him either. Skeens is on the slate. A little bit concerned about his pitch count stuff. Maybe he just goes like 5 or 6 innings, but that should be good enough. It's just a price thing as far as Skeens. I'm curious your thoughts, your overview. What are you seeing as far as the slate? We'll talk about the extreme pitchers in a second, Jose. I see you asking, and there is a couple that are worth noting. But Kirkwood, your screenshot as far as tonight's slate is what?
Well, so we've got like you nailed the offense. I mean, we've got Arizona in Coors, and the Diamondbacks do everything. They run, they hit for power. It's a pretty good lineup. They made it a little bit more playable now with Pavin Smith being injected into the lineup, who provides definitely a home run upside for sure. But we also have good pitching, and then we have one like absolute chalk pitcher. I think Detmers is going to be like ridiculously owned just because he brings strikeout upside. He's coming off of a really solid start in his last one, and he's playing the White Sox, and he's a lefty against the White Sox. So it's him, and then whichever if other higher end guy you want to play, unless you want to come down. Like getting down gets a little tougher. I mean, the best pitchers in my eyes, I mean, it's Shota or Skeens, which you said the pinch count matters a little bit potentially. There's Manaea. There is Seth Lugo we should talk about, who's crushing.
He keeps defying the regression monster. His Sierra is like a run higher than his ERA. He keeps getting away with it. But, yeah, I guess. He's in the mix, sure.
If you wanted to try to get all these bats and go down with 2 pitchers, I guess your option is either Jonathan Cannon or Savali at 6,600 compared with Detmers, I would think. But yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of good pitching and a few good offensive spots. Is the way I see this slate.
Yeah, Savali only 68 pitches last time out. I was looking at, we're 2 weeks left in the season, basically. Like, so many things have been decided already, Kirkwood. We already know the MVPs. It's Judge and Ohtani. We already know the Cy Youngs. It's Chris Sale and it's Tarek Skubal. Like, that's done. Whatever. There's still lines out there. There's no reason in betting unless something really, really goofy happens. That's it. Those are your MVPs. Those are your Cy Youngs. I'm looking at, Fangraphs as far as who's in the playoffs, who's not in the playoffs. It's very clear who's in, who's out, essentially. Brewers, 100% chance to make the playoffs. Dodgers, 100%. Padres, essentially in. Arizona essentially in. Braves Mets is like the last one that, like, maybe they're the ones that are kind of battling it out for the last spot in the National League. Astros aren't officially in, but 97% chance to make the playoffs. Royals 97% chance. Minnesota 84% chance. Detroit still has a shot. They got a puncher's chance at 10%. So they're still alive, but it's weird. So much stuff has been decided. There's not a lot of drama left in this season, except for Ohtani 50-50. That's fun, right? We got to stay tuned for that. TJ's telling us in chat, Cooper Kupp to miss a significant amount of time at a candidate for the IR. Yeah.
Three Rams in cash, they said. 3 Rams in cash. So this goes back to I'm going to come out with my best ball manual next year. It's not going to have any week 17 stacking. It's going to just focus on injury.
Well, how do you predict the injuries?
That's the secret right there.
You have the you figure it out. You know who's going to stay healthy and who's not.
Well, we're working on it on Dew Point
still in
Incorporated. And Dew Point Incorporated, the model is being worked on.
Kirk D's assigned me to the beta team. I can confirm it has in fact been in progress for a while now. Can't give up any other details, though.
Several doctors. That
some of the internet doctors.
NFL experience.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Turn injuries off. Can we turn injuries off? Yeah, for a second there, the Rams are like the old school Pittsburgh, right? Where it was Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown and Ben, and nope, no longer. That's not how that's going. The Rams, it is wild. The NFL, you think you know what's going on, but out of nowhere, goofy things. You can't predict it, and good luck trying.
Although, my man, the people are excited. They're happy. I'm getting DMs all the time from people that say that Dean is the best drafter for season-long fantasy in our 5K league. We got Jordan Mason strong. We got everybody.
I knew CMC was going to get hurt. Obviously,
yeah. We have no injuries in the 5K league.
It's only 2 weeks. Stay tuned.
Irv Gotti is in shambles. That's all I'm saying. Irv Gotti is in shambles.
We got to make some trades.
He's steaming right now.
Hey, it's tough sledding. I'm looking at my best ball stuff, and
imagine if that happens. If Blake Corum becomes the wide receiver and the best ball, all the best ball Corum slappies win.
I mean, they have other guys, Johnson and Robinson. It's not going to be good, but yeah, it's not great. It's not great as far as the Rams. Yeah. The Rams better call Martavius Bryant. Yeah, Martavius Bryant was he in Washington's camp? I think he was in Washington's camp. This
I mean, they should get Shannon Sharp back. Guy's active still.
Active on the field?
Field.
Stafford for Carr, who says no. I don't know the contract situations. I think Carr's got they both have big contracts, I think. But TJ, of course, is a New Orleans fan, so he's trying to get Stafford to New Orleans.
Stafford's always been one of my favorite. Yeah, or send Stafford to Miami. Like, one of those two things would be really cool.
This is Derek Carr season.
I mean, it's 2 weeks. Let's not get
the guy is electric right now. Electric.
I don't want to say they're fraudulent, but I'm just not buying Derek Carr being able to sustain.
It's their new offensive coordinator. It's changed everything.
Maybe, or it's a small sample stuff, but maybe. Like you think Shaheed's going to catch a 70-yard bomb every single week?
Yeah,
I don't.
I'm starting to think he is.
I don't think he's going to do that every single week.
It's what he does.
Maybe. One of these weeks he's not. He's not going to catch a 70-yard bomb. I promise you. And you shouldn't be shocked when it doesn't happen. Okay. Let me give a refresh here on Lineup HQ because we probably have some more. Tony's telling us he thinks look, one of these weeks it's not going to happen for Shaheed. We'll see. Stay tuned. It's there's 17 weeks. I guess 18 if you want to count the bye stuff. Paul Skeens has an extreme hitters umpire. That doesn't make me afraid of playing, Skeens. Extreme hitters umpire for Joey Estes, Palante, Imanaga, and Paul Skeens. We don't have some umpire data just yet because new series are starting. Darvish, Arrighetti, Cannon, Detmers. Don't have that just yet. Yeah, there's the showing up on the screen there for your old for lineup HQ. I was kind of surprised at this ownership stuff, Kirk, but you tell me differently. And I thought Detmers would be the clear-cut own player. Just the price is too good. The matchup is too good. The form is too good. I know it's still like Reed Detmers, and he got sent down earlier in the year by the Angels for not being very good, for being wild, if you want to get all specific and technical. But 7-7 on DK, he's only 35% owned, and Minaya is at 38, and Managa is at 25, and Skeens is only 15. I understand salary cap concerns, and Skeens even more expensive on FanDuel. Happy to answer FanDuel questions, but man, the FanDuel contest today, woof. They're not even, I mean, it's like they're not even trying. I wanted to play over there, and I did sign up for a couple things, but the howdy folks with a Naked HD in chat with a nice thank you, TJ, for bringing that to my attention. I had to see that avatar, that mustache.
It's been a while since I've seen Naked HD
we gotta
in
give
chat.
credit. Can we get him a free week of if he needs it for
that might be above my pay grade, but I will say it's nice to see Naked HD back in chat.
I'll tell you what, Naked HD can get a free week of RG Premium if and only if Naked HD tells you what movie we're talking about as far as Movie Monday. The first clue is Bond. The second clue, Bond is the first clue. Second clue, James Bond. Bond, James Bond. Those are the first two clues for Movie Monday. All right. Let me know what movie we are talking about in the Discord channel. It is not Invincible or Midnight Run or 007 or Field of Dreams. I did not do I was thinking about it. I did not do a James Earl Jones homage. If that's what you're thinking there with Field of Dreams. Shout out to James Earl Jones. Okay. Were you surprised by this ownership stuff? Because I thought Detmers was like the clear and obvious best pitcher, all things considered, salary, opponent, form. We have Minaya in front of him. I think Minaya is perfectly fine. Imanaga, pretty good pitching weather in Chicago. Of notes, really nothing looks good weather-wise as far as enhancing hitting environments. Outside of Coors had a slight bump. Roth, weather-wise, just told us that the winds are gently coming in at 5 miles per hour in Chicago. So Imanaga is a fly ball pitcher, so maybe he can use a little bit of wind to knock the ball down, just enough to kill the ball on the warning track as opposed to getting in the basket there in Chicago. But maybe it's just me, Kirk. What you tell me. I thought that Detmers is like the best pitcher, and he should be ownership-wise. It's not totally showing it. It's showing him like neck and neck with Minaya, and I think that's wrong. But maybe I'm just off.
I think Minaya is bad optimal right now at the moment, so that's gonna boost him a little bit. Detmers will be higher on. I'll say that now for sure. I think he'll be, he's going to be over 50%, I bet, in like higher stake stuff, smaller field stuff.
That is, that's where I'm at. Go ahead.
Yep. And then from there, I think Minaya will get ownership just because of the price, but Imanaga is going to get a bunch of ownership. Keen's going to get some ownership. And then it's going to come down like Cannon, Lugo, Savali. Get a little bit, but not where it really matters.
I just gave a refresh, by the way. I don't mean to cut you off, but
I think there's a pretty clear top four and a top one from the four.
The ownership just changed a few minutes ago. They obviously are working on this, and as we work up the lock, the closer, the more refined those numbers get. But Detmers has now jumped Minaya. I don't know if we moved the needle here or not, but it just sort of happened like that. Detmers now still 36%, Minaya 34-ish, Imanaga 25. I don't understand how Merrill Kelly's coming in at 25%. I don't really get that. I know he's facing a terrible Colorado team, but he has been mostly bad. Since we've seen him in the last 2 months or so. Professional pitcher, and he's cheap. If you want to work that angle, like you talk about the cheapies that you can throw out there, Sure, I guess you can play Kelly, but it hasn't been great, and it's a tough ballpark to pitch in. Lugo's got probably the longest leash on this slate. 100 projected pitches. Good ballpark environment there in St. Louis. And St. Louis, not a team we're afraid of these days. He's fine. No, Detroit. He's facing Detroit. My apologies. Skeens is facing St. Louis. Yeah. Still 16% for Skeens. Darvish working his way back, so we're not expecting a ton of pitches, 80 pitches. I don't really want to pick on Houston, so that's a no. Same deal with Yamamoto. He was awesome his first game back in a while. I think he struck out 8. But again, pitch count concerns. The Dodgers care about a month from now. They don't really care about today. They care about the playoffs, and they have likely lost Glasnow, and there's a chance they might lose Kershaw. And they absolutely need Yamamoto to stay healthy. So
that guy I gave out on here, this injury guy, Chris O'Leary or something, he has predicted like every single one of these.
Okay, I'm not sure who you're referencing, but
I'll look it up. But I've referenced it before on the show, and I'm giving this Twitter out. But anyways, he called the Glasnow thing. Crazy. They're gonna try to ruin Shohei too.
There's a chance he might dabble in pitching in the playoffs. We'll see. There's rumors out there.
That's the same guy that Kirk Dees has contracted for the injury model for best ball.
So he's got a vested interest in pumping him up.
See, TJ's already started because we signed a contract. He was going to be a big marketer of this site because he was blown away by it. But so he's already starting to do that. But we got to keep it quiet at this point.
No Moniak for the Angels, by the way. Just sort of throwing that out there. Angels lineup did drop. Ward, Neto, Shenuel, Cavedas, Theis, Wagaman, LeBlanc, Adams, and Campero. That is a woof. That is not good. That is not a good lineup for the Angels. Again, if you want to save some salary, you kind of threw it out there. It wasn't like a big endorsement. That didn't sound like it, but in theory, you could roll out some cannon just because he's 5K and just hold your nose and hopefully he gets you, 12 or 13 points or something like that.
He probably gets a boost now.
Yeah. He's not.
I forgot to turn back MLB notifications on. I turn them off on Sundays. I can't handle it all.
Really? Yeah. I just let him fire off. Skeens' biggest K rate on the slate, 32.3%. Yamamoto, 29.1%. Again, he was electric his first game back, but is it possible he strikes out 8 or 9 in 5 innings in like 70 pitches? It's possible. Probably not paying for it. He's probably going to be fine-ish, but I just don't see myself getting there in my first lineup. Arrighetti, we know the deal with him, like lots of strikeouts, 27.4%, but he's wild, 10.6% as far as walks. It's the biggest walk rate on the slate. Also a fly ball guy as well. San Diego's opponent, pretty contact heavy. Again, Detmers has been spectacular of late, 27.2% as far as his Ks. Minaya, walks are on the fringe, 9%, 25.6% when it comes to Ks. Imanaga, just pinpoint control, spectacular control, 3.9% when it comes to walks. And the Ks are pretty strong, 24.8%. His issue has been homers, 1.46 homers. That is the second most home runs per 9 on the slate. Number 1 is Merrill Kelly, in part because Imanaga is a fly ball pitcher. Trying to see if there's anybody else that just kind of stands out that we should sort of focus on. They're asking about the movie in chat. Well, you gotta answer this in the Discord channel if you want to get it correct. You know what? I did not tell.
Who has the highest home run per 9 on the slate?
Merrill Kelly. Oh no! You know what? It's Savali. Savali 1.61.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
Savali 1.61.
What do we have different here?
No, it's 1.61 for Savali, 1.58 for Kelly.
1.46.
Yeah, I misspoke. It's close. But, those are the top 3. Estes right there off the podium. Tons of fly balls for Estes. And, he plays half his games. We'll talk about this when it comes to hitters. Of course, plays half his games in Oakland, which is cavernous. He's been pretty lucky with an 8.7% homer to fly ball with a ton of fly balls. I believe he's got the highest fly ball rate on this slate. So I think he's one of the pitchers that are worth attacking. We'll talk about him. We're picking on him soon enough. Lindor today is not in the Mets lineup. If you guys missed it, he's got a back. He's going to be out for 3 to 5 days, they say. and that might, who knows? You never know. That might turn into a shutdown because the Mets. Well, no, the Mets are still battling. They're still battling for a playoff spot. Like I said, them and the Braves are still kind of battling for another spot there in the National League. One of the few things that are still up for grabs. Do it that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications. I see. I don't know where we're at as far as likes. I don't know. I know TJ and Spidey have been really, really busy today working hard with content. Not sure if Spidey had a chance to get to homers, but maybe we get Spidey bombs. TJ can confirm or deny, but do not want to promise. Just hit the like button as is. Later on, you got Tasteful Tides Tim coming in. You got Kevin Roth coming in for Crunch Time, as well as Dave Potts. Cheese is good. Did he?
From what I hear, he shipped the college football.
That's what I was going to ask. I will bring it up when he comes on. It's. I think he had. I saw him say in the Discord channel, 7 of his 8 players were just tagged players. I don't think Dave is.
Yeah, it was like the chalkiest. I get all the chalk smashed supposedly.
I didn't play the slate. I just know UCF had an incredible comeback.
I can't play.
I'm sure
in Massachusetts. We can't play.
Former national champs UCF, future national champs UCF had an incredible game. They are 1-0 in the Big 12. I don't know why they're in the Big 12. It's very strange. That's just all the conferences are very strange now. 3-0, of course, on the season. Everybody knows that. Best team in Florida, best team in the nation. Soon enough. Anything else that we should say as far as pitchers that kind of are worth pointing out? Have you figured out your plan of attack? Or are you still kind of bouncing around?
Yes, my plan attack is going to be Detmers for sure. I'm probably going to go Imanaga or Cannon or Savali or Lugo. Skeens I like, but I worry with the pitch count. I'll probably regret it if I don't play him, though, honestly. But at that price, I think I just want to get more bats. But any of those guys are fine. But that's my plan. We'll see. I'll start tinkering right a second we're done with the show.
Yeah, it's not at home. I feel like Pittsburgh just might shut Skeens down at some point. Like just maybe they let him go 5 or 6 in the next start or 2, and then like maybe not let him go at the last start of the season. Because they did talk about subduing his pitches. And it didn't really happen, right? Like he basically had a full allotment. So maybe they just, the old the rug pull might come at some point. Like out of nowhere, he just gets pulled at 3 innings. I don't know how to anticipate that. I'm not saying that's likely to happen, but it's in play, I think. 6.55 as far as the innings the last 3 times out, 98 pitches, 100 pitches, 82 pitches. So, they're letting him go. I just, at some point, and maybe it's just like one more start and that's it. They're going nowhere, Pittsburgh. There's no reason to push him. So it's a little bit of caution, but I'm just going to assume he's going to pitch 5-ish innings. And that's that. And that should be enough. If you're playing on FanDuel, I don't know if I'm paying the 11.5. He's really expensive over there. All right. Anything else we should say as far as pitchers? We should drop the third clue for Movie Monday. I don't believe anybody's guessed it just yet. It is not Throw Mama from the Train, which is a great random guess. T. Carter says
Owen! That's what is that the same movie?
I don't Danny DeVito?
It's in that woman from Goonies.
Yes, yeah. We haven't seen her in a while, I don't think.
I think someone's name is Owen in that movie.
I don't know, man. It's certainly possible, but I've not seen Throw Mama from the Train in a long time.
Me either,
but clue number 3, this might be helpful. James Bond, famous director, is the third clue. And let me just go ahead. I'm trying to keep an eye on here and just want to make sure I get this correct. But in case I miss it, let me tell TJ the answer. Right. I want you to play along, and I don't want you to guess it. But if you do know the answer, let me know in our private chat. Again, this is for a week free of RG Premium. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey. It's a week, so you're not going to get hockey. You'll get MMA. You'll get PGA. How was the MMA this weekend? I saw people they loved the Sphere. They were saying how spectacular it looked. Apparently, the card wasn't very good. That was my understanding. But
the actual card itself wasn't, but they were like low key bangers, and it had some really sick fights. But the main event led people to I won money with Marab. I bet on Marab. Gave that out on the Tournament Takes podcast as the only play. Unfortunately, though, when I'm sitting there watching a whole card, I just can't help myself and wait. Even though I right before the card, I'm like, okay, there's one play. I'm just going to be disciplined, but I end up doing a bunch of other stuff there. But I hammered Marab. But yeah, it was good.
All right. Do you want to give the summary as far as pitchers? I feel like we kind of just did get the summary as far as pitchers, right? If there's anything else you want to say when it comes to pitchers?
Detmers, Skeens, Imanaga. There's some speech about potentially Skeens getting limited at some point. We haven't seen it yet. He's got 98 pitches, I think, in his last start. But, it could be coming. Had 100 before that, 82 before that. Manaea is going to be kind of chalky against Washington. It's not a great strikeout matchup, but it's a pretty good overall matchup, especially at home. And then if you want to get a little bit out there, I think Seth Lugo is probably the guy. He's been pitching amazing. People still haven't come around to him. And he's facing Detroit, which does bring a lot of strikeouts to the table. Savali is another cheap option. Cannon to pair with Detmers. I think it's Detmers is your SP1, and then you pick how you're going to do it based on the price of your bats from there.
Yeah, it's a good segue into the bats, and it's very, very clear as far as who, pre-flop is the best team. It's Arizona. Like I said, they have the highest, most runs scored on the season, just actual runs scored in the season by 65 or 75, more than everybody else, which is really wild. Let's see. I was looking at this before the show. I think I still have the page up. Yeah, Arizona scored 822 runs of the season. The second most runs scored by a team is the Yankees at 747. So we're talking, 75 runs difference. When it comes to WRC plus, Arizona is the third best team in all baseball. Should probably split it off versus righties and do actual today's lineup too. We can do that since we have the time to do so. The active roster versus righties, they are fourth best WRC plus, 117, which is a really big number. Third in WOBA, weighted on base percentage. They're fourth in isolated power at 188. They don't really strike out a ton. They're they sixth most contact heavy. They'll take a walk. They're very patient. They're the fourth most patient team. So it really sets up as a monster game for Arizona. So they're going to be chalky, and for good reason. They were priced up though. They're super expensive as far as some of the D-backs. We'll have that conversation, but checking the Discord, seeing if anybody got our answer, and not just yet. No answer just yet for Movie Monday. So maybe we can go ahead, drop our fourth clue as we bring in our tiers conversation. It is not threat level 0. That would be a great Broccoli Boy. That's a good effort, but that threat levels I'm thinking of threat level midnight. That was from Office. I don't know what threat level 0 is, but clue number 4 we can add to the already 3 clues that have dropped. Bond, James Bond, famous director. Clue number 4 today is competitive eater. Competitive eater. Maybe that changes things for the people. That might change things for people. Let's see if somebody just texted you the answer. I heard a ding.
So, no, it was unfortunately it's our boy who just said we lost a cup also. So he's
yeah, well,
he's trying to be proactive.
We got to look at the waiver wire, man. We got to look at the waiver wire for sure. Speaking of movies, it is a movie Monday. Today's board, I wanted to make it movie-based, movie-oriented. There is a much anticipated movie coming out later on this month. I believe it's on, I want to say it's on Apple, starring George Clooney and Brad Pitt. So I wanted to do George Clooney movies. Tell me in chat the best George Clooney movie, and tell me the worst George Clooney movie. Also, my board, and it kind of speaks to this slate. The first 4 movies are all really good. So just I didn't go full TJ style. The last one's not great. Spoiler alert. So let me know what the worst movie is. I think it's kind of clear. You guys tell me. But I think it's kind of clear what the worst George Clooney movie is. Do you have an answer in this, Kirkwood?
I have no idea.
I did. Well, this is why I try to bring you in, and you don't have an answer. So I'm just talking to myself. Yeah. Well, you get upset when I don't.
I'm not as big as George Clooney fan as you are.
I bet you like Ocean's 11 because there's some gambling.
Yeah, I do like Ocean's 11.
Yeah, I figured you'd like. I figured you like Ocean's 11 being thrown out in chat. Well, I think you're still playing along for something else. Chat is free on Discord. Yes, see the question being asked in chat. Most of the Discord channels are free. There are some premium channels, but it would be silly if our live stream chat channel was not free. This one happens to be free. All right.
I got to answer someone in chat who asked about Reese Olson and GPPs. I can't go there because he basically in his last rehab start, he went 3 innings and 45 pitches. So I don't know if you're not over 50 pitches in your final rehab, then I don't know. It's going to be tough. Maybe he gets 60 pitches. But,
we are projecting 60 pitches for him for what it's worth.
Yeah. I mean, that would make sense. That's what I would guess.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did I say 60? I meant to say 90. Did I say 60?
Oh, well, then Cardi's sleeping. He's worried about Zamir in best ball and running back carries. And
well, I'm just telling you where we currently have it projected. Senzatella for 70, Darvish for 80, Yamamoto for 80, and we do have Olson for 90 is what I'm seeing.
Oh, man, it would be awesome to be able to bet this if we could.
TJ, let me know. I guess we're still kind of working on it. We're still kind of figuring it out. Apparently, we have a little bit of a technical hiccup all the way in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. We might have a little hiccup as far as being able to present tiers. I'm not sure if we are going to be able to or not. But as of right now, it's oh, there we go. Look at that. All right, just a little bit. Hopefully, this will sustain the entire show. Clooney's worst movie, according to Chris, is Gravity. I disagree with that. It's a good movie. But I can see if you thought that was kind of boring. You know, it's just him and Sandra Bullock mostly. Burn After Reading. That is the Coen brothers movie. It's fine. From Dusk Till Dawn, number 1. I disagree. As I'm showing on the board. Ocean's 11. It's just such a rewatchable movie. The cast is spectacular. It's a lot of fun. But Ocean's 11, number 1. I love Up in the Air. I think that's one of the more underrated movies people have not seen. Anna Kendrick is in it. She's delightful. George Clooney is spectacular. Jason Reitman directed it. Ivan's Kid. Michael Clayton. Have you seen Michael Clayton where he's a fixer? It is awesome. It doesn't have a great title. Have you seen Michael Clayton, Kirkwood?
I don't think so.
Put it on the list. It's absolutely worth watching. We're getting trolled in chat by Broccoli Boy. He's saying One Fine Day. I do not believe, knowing Broccoli Boy's comments in chat, he did not believe that Broccoli Boy likes One Fine Day, which of course is the rom-com with Michelle Pfeiffer. Several people in chat are now standing for Gravity. We're having a Gravity discussion in chat. Out of Sight's very good, and it's in the 4th tier. That's, I would say, Jennifer Lopez's best movie. You tell me the better movie for Jennifer Lopez. Out of Sight is spectacular. Perfect Storm in chat being mentioned. Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. You just can't name everything. There were several I could not get on the board, unfortunately. But Perfect Storm is fine. It's fine. But I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Descendants I wanted to put up there, which is also really, really good. But, we only have a board that has 5 options, and only 4 could be good, right? The last one, though, is Batman and Robin, Kirkwood, because I don't know if you've seen it before, with Chris O'Donnell, who's Robin. And maybe TJ has a thought on it, that this is kind of his world. Even TJ can't defend Batman and Robin. I think even Clooney said, look, let me know. I'll refund the money. I'm sorry. My bad.
So bad that it's kind of fun.
Okay, if that's the angle you want to go with it, sure, I will agree. That's
terrible movie, though.
Arnold's in that, too. Mr. Freeze is in it, right? Isn't that Mr. Freeze? And his catchphrases are so bad.
Yeah.
Everybody chill.
And Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy.
Yeah. Normally delightful, normally spectacular Uma Thurman. She took the paycheck. Can't begrudge her, but it's not good. It's really, really bad. Probably one of the worst Bat movies. Let's see. I'll take Air Force One. That was Harrison Ford, sir. That was Harrison Ford. I do not believe anybody got.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Air Force One?
Yeah.
Well, okay, but that's Harrison Ford movies.
I know. I'm just saying in general. That was a good movie.
All right, let's go ahead and drop the fifth clue. Lots of guesses being dropped. It's not American Beauty. It's not The Whale. It is not Stand By Me. Clue number 1, Bond. James Bond, famous director, competitive eater. And clue number 5 is Attack. Attack is clue number 5. All right. Kindergarten cop being thrown out there. I don't know if that's maybe because we were talking about Arnold or not, but that's on people's minds. And I'll say this, I'll even throw that one more additional, not really a clue, but I watched this for the very first time, like start to finish. I've seen pieces of it before, and it's considered to be a classic. So it's before your time, most likely. Before most people's time, I would say. But, and you've probably seen it before. But, okay, let us know what movie we're talking about. We're going to go ahead and rank every single stack here on the slate. Again, crunch time coming in about 30 minutes, so plenty of time. 9-gamer on DK, 8-gamer on FanDuel. FanDuel left the last game, Houston and San Diego, off the slate, despite the fact it starts 2 minutes after the 8th game, Chicago and Anaheim. We mentioned no Moniak, also no Ohapi for the Angels as well. So they're not trying at this point. Washington taking on the Mets. We got Manaea, pretty chalky Manaea taking on Jake Irvin. We saw James Wood yesterday bang out 2 homers over 800 feet combined. Lots of power in that bat. Still no CJ Abrams for Washington today. The 2020 phenom. Cruz leading off. A lot of young players here for Washington. Cruz and Wood back-to-back. Falls off pretty dramatically after that. Where do we have the Mets? And, of course, no Lindor. No Lindor for the Metropolitans. Where do you have the Mets and the Nats on the board?
I don't have a lot of interest in this game in this park, and with a little bit of a downgrade to one of the Mets' best hitter. Is it their best hitter or one of their best hitters?
Probably. Not their best power hitter. Probably their best hitter in Lindor. I would say so.
Yeah. Probably their number 1 fantasy option, right? Because steals bags.
Yeah, jack in the bag potential.
Yeah. So, man, I'd put the Mets just because anything can happen, and they could put up some runs here against Jake Irvin and this the bullpen, but I'll put them just in the middle, Michael Clayton, and then I'll put Nationals probably as low as can be. Wouldn't argue if you wanted to put him in out of sight.
Yeah, no leverage for you.
For a little bit of leverage.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not making 150 lineups. If I was, most every team today, I would at least have one stack of, right? So I would definitely have a stack of Washington, but I don't feel great about it. But, again, I like Cruz's potential, like Wood's potential, and, Yep has some cheap potential power as well. There's a lot of cheap stuff in that lineup. Don't really want to pick on Manaea, but certainly in that ballpark, especially if the game was in Washington, more appealing. But nobody's going to play him, yada, yada, yada. 7.5 total, barely a 3 total for Washington. But we're going to keep Washington in the gutter, or you're kind of bouncing back and forth. TJ has Washington and Batman and Robin. Is that good for you?
That's fine with me. Yeah.
Okay. Next game, Yamamoto taking on Max Fried. Didn't even mention Max Fried as far as the pitchers, but of course we respect him. He's a good pitcher, keeps the ball on the ground, typically does not get blown up, typically does not give up a lot of homers. But the Dodgers are good. Lefty here starting. Fried kind of reverts split state too if you look at his numbers. So for sure, like you could always play Ohtani, you can always play Freeman. Revenge game for Freddie Freeman. Muncy's in there as well. Do not avoid these players because of left on left. I think people know that at this point. Ohtani and Freeman hit lefties just fine, and Fried's actually not dominant. He's kind of this very similar lefties, righties. Where do we have the Dodgers and the Braves? 7.5 total. The Dodgers are a -130 favorite.
The Dodgers, just because they're the Dodgers, I don't really have much interest. Like Teoscar Hernandez is a bat that just pops. They have a bunch of hitters that can absolutely crush left-handed pitching. Now, Fried is a different kind of pitcher. He doesn't give up a ton. He gets a ton of ground balls. So it's going to be tough but I think you could put them. I don't know. Where do you think, Clayton or out of sight? We got just because they're the Dodgers. Do we have to put them in Clayton just because?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You know, locked in for 9. You know, one of the better ballparks today. It's not amazing, but you know, if you start comparing, I think that's where the Dodgers should go. Atlanta. I mean, I'm not thrilled about it. You didn't put Atlanta anywhere, right? I don't think so.
No. I like Yamamoto as a pitcher. He's probably not going to pitch very long or too long at least. Especially now that they're on eggshells waiting for the playoffs because losing Glass now. So the Braves could be like a sneaky stack that like crushes against this bullpen later in the game. But I would put them down and out of sight.
That's where I would put them as well. I think we can move on. Still, I don't believe anybody has guessed our movie Monday. Should we ask? Should we add a 6th clue? We've never added a 6th clue. We've never needed a 6th clue, but I can throw one on the fly. So let's see. Taking a peek here. Nobody's getting there just yet, but yeah, let's go ahead and add a 6th clue. The current clues: they're Bond, James Bond, famous director, competitive eater, attack. Oh, TJ's just giving it away. TJ, he just doesn't want to deal with Movie Monday anymore. He's telling you teeth is the last. Oh, this is the last clue. Somebody is going to get there, but that is the 6th clue that TJ's got for the people. I was going to say boat, which is also based kind of on the nose. And we do have a winner. Several people got there. Double M squared was the first one to get there. Do you know the answer, Kirkwood? Does that help you?
No, I haven't even been paying attention.
Oh, well, I was okay.
I'm not a big movie guy, like directors and all that.
Oh, okay. I thought you liked to play along, but that's no worries. You know, you're not required.
I think I've never played along except I've given one guess, one movie on approximately.
You stick with one movie.
Yeah. Hoping to. It's like you buy one lottery ticket for the whole year. You buy the whole year. You know that thing.
You just have the same numbers over and over. Okay, Oakland and Chicago. I will explain those clues in a second. I see Derek is asking, how did we get there? Oakland, the Athletics are in Chicago. 8 total. Cubs are big favorites, -200. Imanaga taking on Joey Estes. Talk about Estes and all his fly ball issues. Weather not great for hitting in Chicago. Let's see if anything's changed weather-wise. I don't think so. Let's give a refresh to Weather Edge. I think it's still a slight hit. 140 games, previous games in Chicago, in Wrigley with similar weather. It's a pretty big sample. A hit in home runs at a decrease at 19.5%, a decrease in runs at 6.5%. It is 77 with a dew of 57. The wind is blowing in at 5 miles per hour. I would like these Cubs a little bit more if the weather was a little bit better, but I think they can certainly overcome that. It's nothing dramatic. Chicago, one of my favorite teams on the slate. You tell me. I don't want to lead the witness, but Athletics, Cubbies, where you at?
Yeah, so I like the Cubs too because Estes with the one, he's one of the higher home run pitchers on the slate here. Gives up a ton of fly balls, and the Cubs have power. And he's also gets worked by lefties, and they have lefty power. So lefties are the priority. I think up in the air is perfect for them. But let's just look over the lineup and pick out a few spots.
Pretty standard.
Yeah, I mean, like Bellinger. I'm gonna Michael Busch is a juggalo bomb for sure.
Ooh,
tonight. And so I like this. This is a good stack. I like this stack a lot. I think it can compete tonight. You know, things happen. It might not, but I think it's worth it. On the other side with Oakland, yeah, it's just going to be tough against Imanaga and a little wind blowing in. Yeah, in honor of Lip, who's not here today, I'm going to put him in out of sight instead of and just for the Lip bump, the Eric bump.
Also, like next to Washington, they have very similar logos. Well, you're putting that.
Did he get banned? Well, before I say that, he's not here today. He probably got banned. Did he get banned for something?
I banned him for one show because he was saying some not unseemly, unsavory comments, and so it was just for the rest of the show. But then he messaged. I won't throw anybody under the bus. He messaged somebody and asked me to unban him, and I said it was only for a short time period, but it's on you to not get banned. And he hasn't been back, so we'll see.
So let me give my story with him. I have a path with him too. So he used to DM me all the time, and like screenshots of his lineups, like first pitch, like first hit, like like all the time, like constantly. And then he got mad at me for something, and then I don't remember. And he ended up being like, he blocked me on Twitter or something for like, I have no idea why. Like he got mad at me and then blocked, and then, or no, I got mad at him. I was like, dude, you got to chill. And he was, and then he blocked me. It was, I got this notice, like
he beat you to it. It's a good move.
Like
he went
on
the offensive.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
It's a power play.
Yeah.
I like the Cubs for, even if you're not stacking them up, I like betting on them just like for one-offs.
But he was banned a few times for sure already in the past, like from RotoGrinders. Like he was banned from Tommy G's site. Like if you get banned over there, like
no comment.
Yeah.
Only one team, by the way, does not have a lineup out just yet. That's Houston. We got everything else. So that's nice to see. Everybody else has unleashed their lineups, with the exception of the Astros. And we do like the Cubs for power today. I'll go ahead and explain how they got there as far as Movie Monday. I'm not going to like give you the first clue or the second clue, just kind of spoon feed it to you. So the first clue, second clue, kind of, I don't want to say a red herring, but it's a bit of a throw off. Bond, and I thought it was fun to say Bond, James Bond. It's like the first two. Bond was my first clue, and I'm like, oh, second clue, James Bond. So it's basically the same clue in one, but just kind of like because in the movies, that's how he says his name. So there's a famous bad guy in the Bond movies named Jaws. That's it. Like one of the bad guys is Jaws. So like again, you're probably thinking about James Bond movies, but that's sort of throw you off. But it's also, one of the foes, villains. That's the word I couldn't get to for some reason. One of the villains in the Bond movies is named Jaws. Famous director. This, of course, is Steven Spielberg. One of the more famous directors of all time. Competitive eater. So I was going to say Chestnut. I don't know if you know Joey Chestnut. You know Joey Chestnut? You're aware of him, right? He just ate a bunch of hot dogs on Netflix. His nickname. What is Joey Chestnut's nickname? It's Jaws. It's Jaws. So there you go. And then Attack, because that's Jaws is a spoiler alert. It's a shark. You don't see Jaws, by the way, until like 54 minutes into the movie. You don't see him. And then nobody got it. I was going to say Boat, which of course a lot of the movie takes place on a boat. But Jaws, teeth. There you go. That was our last clue. We did get there. They had famously had a lot of trouble with the shark. This was, I think, 1975 when it came out. So there was no CGI in 1975. It didn't look great. Again, the movie was pretty good, for what it was. If you watch it with the 1975 eyes,
very good. It's intense.
Brandon says the only villain is whoever made those clues. Look, you want me to spoon feed you RG Premium? It's just not going to happen. You got to earn it. But yeah, it was pretty good. Should I watch the rest of them? I know they progressively fall off and get worse and worse. Is Jaws? Have you watched like the whole series or no? I know they get pretty bad. Or you can't speak to that.
Oh yeah.
Are you on the phone?
I think I've seen two.
Okay. We'll get back on track. I'm sorry. Okay. Detroit and the Royals. We have the Royals are favorite here, minus 142. Lugo taking on Reese Olson. Feels like a slate where Bobby Witt's is not really going to get played. You can always play Bobby Witt. He's spectacular. Detroit also not going to get played either. They're still battling it out for their playoff lives. They're, like I said earlier, they have a puncher's chance to sneak into the playoffs this season. Good for them for not being, typically they're limited this time of year. But you tell me, Kirkwood, Royals, Detroit, where do we have them in the power rankings?
Reese Olson, pretty good pitcher, but can't be going very long in this game. Royals play better at home. I think there's upside here. So and they're just not going to get much ownership. So I think, middle Michael Clayton is good as far as, nobody can hit Seth Lugo. It's the truth. It's the truth.
He's been good this year. Look at it. I think he's got the lowest ERA in baseball, or one of the lower ERAs in baseball. Should check that. Should just throw that out there. But it's less than 3. No, it's not the lowest, but it's the top 10.
So Skeens is 2.1.
Okay, yeah. I'm not sure if he qualifies though.
Lugo's at a 2.9.
But does Skeens qualify as far as how they do it? Lugo, according to the pitchers that qualify, Sale is number 1 at 235, Skubal 2.5, Wheeler 2.6, Blanco 2.88, Framber Valdez 2.91, Lugo 6th 2.94. So Skeens is just not throwing enough pitches. Imanaga, by the way, 7th, if you care about such things like ERA. So where do we have Detroit? Is that TJ? I apologize if you said it. Is that TJ's placement, or did you say the Royals?
Yeah, I put them an outside or in the bottom because obviously they do have some power bats that could come through, and they are going to be low owned. So on this slate, that could work, but that would be the highest I'd go.
Alfonso says, I think Kirkwood is bored with Dean's movie talk. I think so too. I think I bored Kirkwood several times on this show where he's just kind of zoned out.
What was it like a show? I think the show last week I was like throwing popcorn and I was throwing candy up in the air the whole time.
Well, we gotta do something to make it an hour, 20 minutes. Paul Skeens taking on Palante, Pittsburgh at St. Louis. We talked about Skeens being one of the better pitchers in the slate. I assume he's going to pitch 5 or 6 innings, and whatever shutdown is coming probably is just like they just don't want to pitch the last week plus of the season. We'll see. Stay tuned on that. But where do you have offensively? By the way, no Cruz for Pittsburgh. I thought that was worth noting. Their lineup is not great. IKF, Reynolds is solid. The Bartman is batting third. That's Joey Bart, Connor Joe. It's they're running out 2 catchers with Grandal, Nick York, Jared Triolo. Billy Cook is a person playing baseball
They're obviously just avoiding any lefties. I think that's what you should avoid. There's no
Palante is a righty for what it's worth.
I know, but his numbers against lefties are ridiculous.
He's a picks the contact guy. Billy Cook
0.064 ISO.
Yeah, what's the case?
I have no interest in either offense, to be honest. You can put them both in the bottom for me.
Yeah, I don't really like this offense either. But okay, both hanging out with Batman and Robin and Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze. We shall move on. There are 3 games left. Again, crunch time coming in 10, 15 minutes or so. We should have time for questions in chat. Kirk, would you prepare to answer some questions?
Yeah. You know what I'd like to see? I just want to give a shout out to how professional Tim Tasteful Tides is here 15 minutes early, absorbing some content, just chilling, ready, showing up. He's showing up.
Where do you see him? I can't believe I see him popping in, but why do you have access to the green room and I don't? How do I get green room access?
I feel like I've been doing this long enough. You just obviously don't have your window open far enough.
No, I have my window open. I do not have access. Did Tim know he was on camera there, by the way? He didn't wave or anything. I don't know. Was Tim even aware that he was put up on the screen? I don't know. But Tim is in the bullpen warming up.
So let's just show the differences between me and Tim.
Yeah.
I like to say that I'm very efficient, but when we have a show at 5 o'clock, I'm usually here at 4:59 is usually how I roll. Tim 15 minutes early.
Not the brag. You think that is?
I know. Tim's early. It's great. That's how I'm going to try to teach my son to always be early, to don't be like me. But anyway, let's go.
So Arizona's in Coors Field. I said earlier, there's one team that has a team total.
Did we do Philly?
I skipped it. My bad. We'll jump back. But good call. I don't know why I skipped over Philadelphia. That was a mistake on my part. Let's just go ahead and knock out Philly. My bad. Ranger Suarez taking on Aaron Savali. Coin toss here, according to Vegas. 8 total. Pretty standard lineup for Philly, with the exception of Cal Stevenson in there. But you tell me, the Phillies versus Milwaukee. Phillies locked in for 9 on the road here. Savali versus Suarez.
Well, some interesting things with Suarez. So Suarez, the first half of the season was absolutely incredible, but we were all being like, this can't last. The regression monster is going to hit with him, and it has hit. And you look at his last start against Tampa Bay, he gave up 12 hits and 2 walks, 4 runs. Now, he hasn't given up a ton of power, but Milwaukee is a lineup that certainly could come through in this spot against Ranger Suarez. And I think everyone's still like attached to how good he was throughout the season. So give me Milwaukee as the sneaky. Michael Clayton is where they should be, but I like them a little bit more, and I'll put them up in the air. There's a caveat there that they probably shouldn't be there, but they're gonna be sneaky tonight. So gotta boost them up for that. On the other side, the Phillies, Savali gives up homers. That's one thing he does do. He's been pitching okay lately, but they also gave him a short. They pulled him at 68 pitches because he gave up a homer to, I think it was Yaz, in his last start. Yeah, it was weird. So it looks like he's on a short leash, like depending on how he's doing and how their offense is performing. But Philly is potent for sure. So I think this game could be sneaky. So put me Phillies right next to them where they are, up in the air, and that's how I play this.
Yeah, the Milwaukee one. My only issue is I like Suarez, just such a good ground ball guy. Like he probably is not going to give up multiple homers, but I hear you.
He's also velocity. His velocity's down. There's a lot of red flags with
him. Interesting. Look at our board. We have nobody hanging out in Ocean's 11. Everybody else has 3 teams. Let's see how that changes with 3 games to go. Again, mentioned before, Arizona's got a team total above 5. It's above 6. It's 6.2 because they're facing Antonio Senzatella, who's not great, coming back from Tommy John, got his face punched in the minors. Now he's got to face major league hitters. Arguably one of the best lineups in all of baseball. Nobody scored more runs in baseball than Arizona. Now they're in Coors tonight. They clear an obvious, best stack until baseball things happen. And then Colorado on the other side, they have close to a 5 total as well. Not as good a lineup.
Should we be betting Snakes futures?
It might be too late.
Yeah.
How do you feel about their pitching?
That's the problem. Do they have the pitching to get it done? Like if you told me
Zach Gallen.
Like beginning of the season, like if you told me like Erod would be back and healthy, and Montgomery was like how when they made a play for him, like he was going to be good this season at all, and Gallen, I would think they have a chance. But again, pitching is tough everywhere. Except it's like Seattle has the pitching. Who else has like the pitching?
The Dodgers don't. If they're not getting healthy, they're gonna be struggling. Philly's got some pitching. Yeah, Philly has some pitching. San Diego's got a really good bullpen. If they can just get to their pen, they can shorten that game. They're the team that's like kind of sneaky, I think. Although I just pulled it up on Scores and Odds. Looks like you can get Arizona at 26-1 on FanDuel to win the World Series. Looks like that's the best number that I see. Like Dodgers currently like minus 350. I can't imagine laying that now. That just seems goofy. Your favorite team, Baltimore, is about 10-1. Speaking of teams that do not have the best pitching.
Shout out to Cheese for putting them 0-2 in the musings and in the last place, Baltimore Ravens.
I love that Cheese is like, so polite about everything, but he still will take a petty shot at the Ravens. Like he's not above that. And I respect it so much because I assume, I don't want to make an assumption here, but he's a Cleveland fan, a Cleveland Browns fan specifically. And I assume he's still probably upset with the late night, the moving. Well, the history of Baltimore and Cleveland, I would imagine is what's going on there. I think that's what's happening. I just liked how he still has not forgot what's going on there. Okay, now we got to speed it up. We have plenty of time.
Snake's
before,
number one offense. No one needs to tell you this. Snake's the only Sensatella is a guy that sometimes limited damage in the past, but coming back from the IL, I can't see good things, and their bullpen is horrific. I think the Snakes go off tonight, and it's just gonna like Pavin Smith makes it easier to play them. I think the writing's on the wall, and I think we got to play Cannons versus Detmer after seeing that Angels lineup.
It's bad, yeah.
And then load
Cannon might be worse, but it's a bad lineup. But like, I don't.
But you got to take your shot. I think 5K.
I have not worked anything out, on the show, obviously, but that's not, that might be a route I might have to take just to save some salary. It's worth having the conversation. He's not good, but the Angels might be worse. And as I mentioned before, I'm trying to pull this one up on the fly as well. As far as the bullpen for the Rockies, last we saw only one lefty lurking in the pen. Yeah, Luis Peralta, and he's just been like a one-inning guy. He threw 16 pitches on Wednesday, 3 pitches on Thursday, 4 pitches on Saturday. Did not work yesterday. I assume he's available. Probably comes in for 1 inning. A little bit concerning, but again, just one lefty. I'm not flipping out, losing my mind about the prospect of pinch hit stuff. Maybe it happens, but also maybe Arizona's up 10-2, and who cares? All right. You have Arizona in the top spot. Where'd you put Colorado? Michael Clayton, is that correct?
It would be up in the air at worst.
Yeah. Okay. Chicago, Angels, 8 total. Reed Detmers taking on Jonathan Cannon. We talk about that Angels lineup being bad. The White Sox. Could you combine these two teams? You still have a terrible team.
This is the most dog. I mean, I don't know. Maybe these guys are good, but Wagaman, Charles LeBlanc.
You're going to the game tonight, Kirkwood. Who are you excited about? You're going to the Angels game. I can't wait to see.
Neto would be the only guy who has potentially has a big future, but that's it.
Not even freaking the sheets. Your boy Gavin to make the lineup left on left.
Well, the White Sox, that's a different. Obviously, Robert.
They're bad too. They're both really bad.
Yeah,
I think Taylor Ward's probably the best player in this game.
Yeah, how do they not play freaking the sheets?
They don't. Whatever. It's the season's over.
Zach De La Roche leading off.
That's the lead singer of Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Some of them who born.
Zach De La Rocha, if you want to get all technical. Zachary Deloach. Okay. All right. Is that a prospect? I'm not aware of Zachary. I'm not aware of his work.
The same that burn crosses.
All right. I think he is a rookie, right? 26-year-old rookie. Does not appear to be. He's got some speed. Got a little bit of speed. 20 stolen bases this year in AAA. Not a lot of pop. 6 homers. Where do we have the White Sox? And they're cheap, right?
They're
cheap.
both in dog water, unless you want to say leverage on Detmers. But Detmers should be 100% owned in this spot.
It's so wild. This guy was demoted earlier in the year,
and
fabulous.
I'm sold. Like, I don't care what happens, and if I lose, I lose. But I'm playing. I'm just pairing up Cannon, Detmers, and I'm just loading up.
Yeah, Cannon not great. This Angels lineup's worse.
Dog water. The
16.3%.
2 week old outside with a dog that slobbers. So it's like you see it in there, and that's what this Angels lineup is.
We have to have you rank different degrees of dog water, like it's a power ranking going forward. Angels, no, not Angels. Astros, San Diego. We did get an Astros lineup. We have all the lineups out. It is Arrighetti taking on Yu Darvish. Yu Darvish might be somewhat limited if you're considering rostering him. I wouldn't. That's not something I'm doing, but you're an adult. Do whatever you want to do. Where do we have the Astros and Padres on the board?
So Arrighetti, good pitcher, been pitching well. Still has issues, could blow up at any time. Has issues with walks, especially to left-handed batters. And can give up some power. So I think the Padres are a decent stack tonight. They're either an up in the air or Michael Clayton. I'll let you call that one. And then on the other side for Houston, I really don't want to pick on Darvish. I know it's not the same Darvish at this point, and 63 pitches in his last start, gave up 7 hits, but I still have respect for him. I mean, he's a guy that can turn it on at any time too. I'd put them both in the same. You know, if you want to put them in up in air, I wouldn't argue with you, but Michael Clayton.
I would put them both in the up in the air tier. Arrighetti, a fair bit of strikeouts, but also can be wild. I'm good leading into the variance and just that Houston lineup locked in for 9 on the road. Darvish is not something I'm afraid of these days. I am could be a bit of an ageist, and he's 38 at this point. Good for him. He's still doing his thing, but not what he once was. Let's recap the board. Think of the Juggalo bombs, because I'm going to ask you when we finish this, all the way up top by themselves, the D-backs with Ocean's 11 up in the air. Chicago, that's the Cub variety. Philadelphia, Milwaukee, Rockies, Houston, San Diego. The most popular tier is up in the air. Michael Clayton right in the middle. The Mets, the Dodgers, the Royals. Out of sight as the Braves, the Athletics, Detroit, and the Angels. Lastly, it is Batman and Robin, Washington, St. Louis, Pittsburgh, and the White Sox. Do hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn on those notifications, please, so we can get more homers, more taters on layaway. I know Tasteful Tides is coming in. Briefly, we saw him in the green room, as well as Dave Potts, as well as Kevin Roth. Before we do all that, though, give me the Juggalo bombs. Who's going yard?
Number 1 is Chucky Robinson.
Whoa,
right.
Really?
No, absolutely not. Just I gotta respect Chucky in your name, like not Charles. If your real name is Chucky,
or Chuck.
Yeah. Anyways, the real John. I won't go to Arizona or on the Rocky side at all. I'll skip that game, and I'll say Jackson Merrill. Although the weather and the wind and stuff not so great there, but Jackson Merrill off Arrighetti and Michael Busch.
Jackson Merrill, future rookie of the year. We said that at the top of the show. Everything has already been decided. We know who the Cy Youngs are. We know who the rookie of the years are. Just nothing up in the, there is still, we don't know if Shohei's going to go 50-50. That's the big thing left until the season closes out. 2 weeks to go. We have crunch time knocking on the door. You guys know Dave Potts is coming in. You know Tasteful Tides and Kevin Roth. Let's go ahead and bring him in right now. What is up, Roth? How are things in your world? Everything good? Happy Monday.
Thank you. Things are pretty good by me, but not as good as they are by Dave Potts.
College football expert Dave Potts.
Let's go, Cheese.
The greatest compliment I can give someone is that I'm officially sick of seeing them win everything, and I'm jealous. And that's where Squirrel and Dave has finally met. He's finally up there with Squirrel, because he does this with hockey. He does this with college football. He does this with video games.
Yeah, like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, whatever. He does.
I think Dave knows hockey, though. I think Dave actually knows hockey to some degree.
Have you shipped the NASCAR yet?
No, I don't think I'm going to do that. I tried for a couple weeks, and I think I'm going to pass on that one and the golf. I'm going to let you have the golf and the MMA and the NASCAR.
MMA, yeah, thank you. Don't come in those streets, please. Thank you.
Yeah, you're safe from MMA. I don't like fighting in real life either.
You were winning the 50K, Dave. I know I'm forcing you to talk about it. Yeah, humble brag. But did it hold? Did it hold up? Do you happen to take down the contest you were in? You were talking.
Yeah, it held. It was. It was the most glorious, goofy thing. Sometimes the goofiest things happen to win. Like, there's only one guy who could pass me, and he needed whatever that quarterback of the game that went to overtime. He scrambled to the half-yard line, and his helmet flew off, so he had to come out for the next play.
Oh, wow.
And if he had ran it in, like, that would have got passed, but he was on the sideline because the helmet came off, so some other guy scored. Just works for me.
Amazing.
Yeah. Can you confirm, did you feel okay, kind of squeamish? I believe you won 50K with some players from the University of Alabama. Is this true?
I mean,
okay
I hate it. Yeah, it was truly, the worst. But it made for usually there's a very rare quartet of things that have to happen to make the best football weekend ever.
Yeah.
And I've added like a new fourth. And it almost never happens because of who has to lose. It's Auburn and the Browns winning with Alabama and the Ravens losing. Like, it rarely happens. But I got 3 of them. But those 3 plus me winning 50K on the Bama game counts for the quartet for the perfect football weekend.
you missed UCF coming back versus TCU. That was spectacular as well. I don't know if you caught that. You probably were not sweating that game. The University of Central Florida, the former national champions.
I know
watched
who
them
they
live
are.
In person take on Auburn.
I know who they are. I don't know that they're still playing in present day.
Hey, Deshaun Watson didn't look cooked to me. I watched the game too. I thought he looked better. I know they didn't need him to do much, but
it was weird. That first half, he looked like a semi-legitimate NFL quarterback.
Yeah, he was making some good throws. He was running a little bit. He was, I don't know.
He's medium well, not fully cooked.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. Well, yeah, exactly. We'll see. I'm not ready to slam the door on him.
We talked about this earlier, Dave. We love your pettiness against the Baltimore Ravens in the musings. We always appreciate it.
It will never end. I mean, there is nothing worse in the world than the Baltimore Ravens and the last place winless Baltimore Ravens.
This ties into your Cleveland fandom and Art Modell, I assume.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like anyone who is older than like 20 shouldn't even be allowed to root for them. Like if you know how they got there and you're a fan of them, I have no respect for you as a human.
You're throwing shade at STL Cards, who, don't be deceived by the name. STL Cards is a Baltimore Ravens fan,
and he should know better, and it's not okay.
We'll make sure to bring this up next time you guys are paired together. Kirkwood, we're going to step aside and get out of here and make way for crunch time. You guys got plenty of time. You have 45 minutes until first pitch. Sorry, Roth, it's 7:10.
So since we've got a little time, can I hold you for just a second? Because not only was Cheese the big winner of 50 grand, but he's winning something else very important. You know what it is, Dean?
What is Cheese winning? Is there a poll? It's not a poll because TJ does not have poll capabilities.
Does Cheese know what he's winning right now?
But I didn't until you just said. I know. I think I know what it must be. Am I winning the RG pool? Like pick the NFL games.
Splash?
Absolutely crushing. Sport? Yeah, he's 20-11 against the spread. He's in first place by a couple games, and I know that's good because I'm 11-20, and that's bad. So
that's bad.
Yeah, that's not good.
I did not know I was winning that, but thank you for pointing that out. That would probably be my greatest win, to win that for, I believe I would get $70, but it's not really about that.
Right.
If Cheese wins that, he actually has to do NFL content next year. It's in his contract.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
He's going to start tanking.
You know who's worse than me? Who's below me? I am 11-20. You know who's worse than me?
Tim?
Is our guy Head Chopper.
Oh boy.
Oof.
And he's up the videos too, giving the Survivor stuff. Is he over 2 in Survivor? I know he had Cincinnati week 1. Did he get Baltimore week 2? I hope he didn't, for his sake.
I can't believe we had that ready to go.
So I know he had a tough time giving out the Survivor pool picks too. I know that.
Yep. Yeah, he's on the struggle bus, man. And then I don't even want to say who's dead last, because we could all get fired for bringing it up, I'll leave it at that.
Oh, DB, huh?
It's old DB. He's pulling up the rear right now. Yeah,
it's a long season.
Yeah, long season. Dean, do you know where you are in this?
I tried signing up multiple times, and I was going back and forth with support, and I was having issues. And long story short, I did not sign up. I wanted to. I did my best to participate. But for some reason, I could not get past the sign-up process.
That is a shame. It's a lot of fun, man.
I know. I wanted to participate. It looked like a lot of fun, and I was excited about it. But I'm not in it, unfortunately. So best of luck to Dave and to yourself and everybody else in between. A lot of wiggle room between 20 and 11 and 11 and 20. But you got anything else, Kirkwood, before we get out of here?
No, I can't believe Roth called out my boy Chop. Tough times.
The fact that he's giving the advice on it and he's doing worse than I am, that tickled me a little.
Myself and Kirkwood, we appreciate y'all watching the first portion. I'm going to step aside and get out of here. Make way for crunch time. You got Tasteful Tides Tim, Dave Potts, Cheese is Good, NFL expert, college football expert, baseball expert, and Roth, chief meteorologist. Roth, go ahead. Let's go ahead and bring it home. It is crunch time.
Let's do it. Welcome to it, ladies and gentlemen. Good stuff as always by the flagship crew there. And now you know the deal. It's crunch time. 2 of the sharpest minds in the biz. Dave Potts, Cheese is Good. We already know he's doing well. Cheese, you like the slate?
Sort of. It's a pretty weird one with interesting pricing. I don't know if like is the word I would use, but we'll talk about it.
Okay, very good. We got Tasteful Tides, Tim in the house as well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well, Kevin. Always good to see you. Always good to see Dave. I think this is a really, really good GPP slate for such a, only 9 games, but I think there's a lot of there's some really good pitching and some really good hitting. So I think that makes for a really strong tournament slate.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to dive into the content side of things. And again, for roughly the 73rd day in a row, there is no weather to discuss. No concerns whatsoever. So everything is good. Let's just skip right over that and dive into what we're dealing with on this slate. Cheese, you want to lead us off?
Yeah, like Tim kind of said, there's a lot of very good pitching. I've narrowed it down to essentially 5 pitchers plus a cheap dart in my pool, and that's it. Which means there's a bunch of good pitchers I'm not using. You are perfectly well allowed to use them. But I will tell you who I am using. Paul Skeens is the top pitcher. I'm not playing him on FanDuel. He's priced out for me on FanDuel. On DK, I wrote about this in the musings. Like, they said they're going to limit his pitches, but they're kind of not really. I think they're going to let him go either 5 or 6 innings. Like, they don't have some pitch count in mind where they go out and take him out when he hits that pitch count. They have some pitch count in mind where they're not going to let him start a new inning. But if he starts the inning, he finishes it, which means he's still getting 6 innings fairly often.
Yeah.
Which means he's still very playable, if not the top pitcher on the slate, without salary considered. Skeens, Imanaga's next. Seth Lugo, Sean Manaea, and then Reed Detmers, who is, I think, the chalk and definitely my highest owned pitcher because of the salary and the matchup. He's the guy facing the White Sox, and he's cheaper. So to me, like, with salary considered, I would call Detmers the SP1. And then the cheap dart I'm willing to play on DK is Jonathan Cannon, simply because he's $5,000. The Angels have kind of a nonsense lineup, and he throws strikes. He's not good, but he's cheap in a good matchup. So that's it. That's my entire pool. With Detmers and Imanaga is my most common duo. That $500 that you save from Skeens is very worthwhile. But any combination of Skeens, Imanaga, Manaea, and Lugo with Detmers is my go-to. And if I need salary, I'll just play Cannon.
Okay, good stuff. That was fairly simple. Tim, Cheese had, what was that, 5.5 dudes, and essentially?
Before I go to Tim, because I have like 50 lineups, and in like my last like 10 lineups, I threw in a very small skosh of cheaper mid-tier, which would be Palante, Merrill Kelly, Aaron Savali.
Okay, but very low exposure.
Like
lineups.
Under 5% of each of them.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Tim, let's discuss here. What are you doing pitcher-wise? You said you love the slate. What do you like?
Yeah, I mean, I just love the talent on the slate. I just want to do something real quick. I'm not supposed to do this, but I want to give out a Tater right now before it gets
let's
bat.
do it.
Before it gets bat. Corbin Carroll plus 500 on FanDuel. He's plus 475 on DK. So I just bet that right now. So I thought that was pretty good. So anyway, that's one Tater.
You're not supposed to do it. I think you are.
Yes, you are, Tim.
Yeah. I think if you see a bet that you like, you just say, stop the show. This is a bet I like. Lock in the Tater there. Corbin Carroll plus 500.
You make the rules around here, Tim.
That's right.
All right. Say it's time.
I will give a couple more later, but I just want to give that one out right now.
Cool.
Yeah. So definitely Imanaga and Detmers are most likely your cash game options. Imanaga gets a really, really good matchup against Oakland. In Wrigley, Weather Edge really likes that game. Slight wind blowing in. So I do love Imanaga. I agree with Cheese. Detmers is probably your cash game pitcher on FanDuel at 8,500, and he's 7,700 on DK. So he's definitely your SP2 on DK. I don't really differ that much with Cheese's pitching analysis. I think it's really Imanaga, Skeens, Detmers, Manaea. And then I have absolutely no issue if you want to punt with Cannon at 5K, because it's absolutely awful Angels lineup. I recorded the morning grind with Stevie last night, and he made a really good point about potentially playing Cannon. So if people want to do that, I'm fine with it. In terms of Seth Lugo, to me, is the real wild card in this slate. I'm not sure exactly where he's going to come in terms of ownership. I think he's, quote unquote, too expensive on FanDuel, but this guy he's shown a ceiling here and there, all season long. Like, he's a guy that I consistently get wrong because his advanced metrics, he's not supposed to be this huge K guy, but I mean, he has these huge games. So I think 10-2 in GPPs on FanDuel, I like quite a bit as a pivot off of Imanaga, who's going to be 33% owned, and Lugo is going to be less than 10.
Mm-hmm.
Lugo is going to be around 20% on DK, but still, I think he's a good pivot off of Manaya, who's going to be 35% owned, or you could pivot off of Showdown, who's going to be 25 to 30% owned. So it's a really good spot for Lugo. I'm not really on any of the Suarez, Darvish, Yamamoto. I'm not on any of those guys. I wouldn't pitch Fried tonight. I was going to ask Cheese about Savali, but he clarified that right at the end that he's going to have a little pinch of him, which I think is a good idea. So yeah, it's really the same guys Cheese mentioned, but I think if you're looking for like the quote optimal play in cash, it's Shota and Detmers.
Okay, and then talk to me about FanDuel really quick as well.
Yeah, so Paul Skeens is really expensive on FanDuel. He's 11.5. I mean, he's going to be like pretty low owned, 7%, but he's really tough to play. And I would much rather save the money and go to Lugo, Imanaga, or Detmers. Detmers is only 8.5. If you play Detmers, you have 3,300 per bat. Detmers is my favorite. This White Sox team is just like 1 through 9 jabronis. So, I mean, it's just I don't really care. Like,
is that a Wallflowers song? 1 through 9 jabronis.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's definitely it. Yeah.
There we go.
Cheese on FanDuel. Are you picking on the 1 through 9 jabronis as well?
Yeah, I think it's Detmers on FanDuel. Yeah. Basically, Imanaga and Detmers are essentially the whole pool on FanDuel, really. If you're just making a few lineups.
P.S. I only know one Wallflower song, and it's One Headlight. Is there other Wallflower songs?
1, 2, 3 Marlenas. 1 through 9 jabronis.
Yeah, I figured that there was another song that I just didn't know there. All right. Hey, let's go around the horn. Let's talk. Let's talk stacks. Let's talk stacks. Tim, we got to talk stacks. Talk to me.
Yeah. So the clear and obvious stack tonight is going to be the Diamondbacks. They get an amazing matchup against Senzatella, who's coming back from Tommy John surgery. So Arizona's the clear, obvious, like raw point stack. It's not even really close. They're going to be extremely popular, and they're. I mean, I think DK did a really good job of pricing them up, but also we have enough value at pitching where it's and in other lineups that it's pretty easy to get to if you want to. So, I mean, Arizona, clear number one, also the clear number one owned. So just watch out for ownership, I guess, if you're MMEing. I would personally probably put the Cubs next, but that's pretty close. And then I'd probably go Rockies against Merrill Kelly. Again, in Game and Coors, the Rockies kind of sneak up on people sometimes and end up winning the slate. So because people just don't want to play them because they are quite bad in real life. But sometimes, given the fact that they're in Coors and they have a good matchup, and they're a lot cheaper than Arizona, they could win you the slate. And then for value, somebody in the YouTube chat was saying, why are the Pirates simming so well? My only answer is it's because they're so darn cheap and that they allow you to stack around the extremely expensive Diamondbacks stack. So I don't mind getting to some of those cheap Pirates. I also don't mind. So the other thing is, I think there's going to be a little bit more ownership on Cannon than what we're saying. So the Angels are horrible, but they're also really cheap. And if Cannon's going to get steamed at all, I wouldn't mind getting to some cheap Angels as well to stack around Arizona.
Okay, very good, Cheese. I want your stack thoughts, but first, Head Chopper in the chat, who may or may not be the real Head Chopper, because there's also a fake one that hangs out in the chat, says, I swear I've heard Cheese in a hair metal band before. Can you confirm or deny you were ever in a hair metal band? We know you're a musician.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
No, I figured that. That's fair. That's the way you should play that. Absolutely. Okay, what are you doing stack-wise?
Pretty similar. I mean, the sites did a pretty good job pricing Arizona up. Like, you can't just jam in the top 5 bats without doing like Cannon and Detmers or below. And they're spread out enough that like they're chalk, but it's not like these 4 or 5 guys are chalk everywhere. So I think you can still play Arizona, as obvious as they are. Cubs are next for me. And then it's a very spread it out all over the place kind of slate. I'm going Phillies, Padres next, and then Rockies and Royals. But essentially it's Arizona, then a huge, ginormous gap, and then the Cubs, and then just kind of everyone else.
Okay. Let's go around the horn. Start me off at catcher, Cheese. What do we like?
So what's interesting is I don't really like anyone on this whole slate outside of all the Diamondbacks. But Gabriel Moreno is not one of the top like 7 Diamondbacks bats. So like he's the best catcher and he's not all that expensive. He's one of the only affordable Diamondbacks, but yeah. So I guess let's go back to your boy Hunter Goodman, because you don't really want to spend your salary at catcher. I mean, I've got a little bit of Sal Perez and Will Smith, but like Hunter Goodman for 32, if you're not playing Moreno, I think is good. Matt Thace is in the lineup, 2,800. I don't mind Caratini, but I don't like anyone is the real answer.
Okay. We should know the Hunter Goodman being my boy, because the last time we were all together, which was Friday, I said, I need a catcher for, I don't know what it was, 3,500 or whatever. And you said, oh, play Hunter Goodman for the home run. And what did he do, Cheese?
He hit 2 of those.
He hit 2 of those, babies.
He broke the slate. He broke the slate completely.
Yeah, like
It
40
was awesome.
40 DK points for a team catcher is pretty great.
It was phenomenal. I was so glad I played that dude. The rest of my team kind of sucked, and I still cashed the tournament. Good stuff, as always. Tim, what are you doing at catcher?
Yeah, I just want to say another thing about stacks. I do like the Brewers a little bit, so I don't mind getting to the Brewers. They'd probably be my 5th stack. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I do like guys like, we'll talk about William Contreras at 5K, spend up to get different. Marino is definitely your cash game catcher. William Contreras is my favorite GPP catcher. I don't mind Sal Perez. I don't mind Matt Tice batting 5th at 2,800 against Cannon. There's a few different ways to go, but I think Moreno is your obvious cash game. And then Contreras, Perez, Goodman, and Tice in GBPs.
Okay, very good. How about first base?
Yeah, Christian Walker is the best overall play at first. I think the best GPP pivot off of him is Bryce Harper at 5,500. I see Squirrel has him tagged, so that's always a good sign. Bryce Harper at under 10% owned. Right around that same Walker price tag. So it's a really good price point pivot. I always like Pete Alonso, even though it's a really bad hitter's park. But I love Pete Alonso at under 5%. You're going to get up to a lot of Pavin Smith and optimizers, I'm assuming. I would play him in the outfield, not at first. That's just my thoughts on that. And if you really need a punt, there's a couple Angels that you can play. Nico Cavadas at 2,400. I do prefer him straight up over Nolan Chanel at 3,600. They're both first base eligible for the Angels.
Okay, Cheese, your thoughts at first.
Very similar. Obviously, Christian Walker, Bryce Harper is a great pivot, and I like Michael Toglia as a pivot. Pretty good to spend up with those guys there, but same thing, like the cheap Angels look pretty great. We do have there's a bunch of cheap pirates, like Tim mentioned in the stacks. You can play Billy Cook, the rookie, for 2,100 on DK if you need something that cheap. But I do prefer Kavadas as the cheap guy.
Okay, then I believe you take me to second base, Cheese.
Yeah, Marte is 6,600 on DK, which seems ridiculous, but the rest of the position is so bad that it's kind of not ridiculous. On FanDuel, he's only 44. I like him a lot better there. But where you don't have that much salary sitting around, I like Bryson Stott and Michael Massey the best. I don't love those guys, but I think they're fine. Brendan Rodgers is fine. We got another basically minimum salary Pirates rookie, ye old Nick York with the E on the end. Minimum salary on DK. It's fine. Like, there's just not much on this slate. There's the Diamondback, and then there's just
Okay. Tim, are you playing ye old Nick York there?
I actually am in cash games, and I'm not exactly excited about it because I've got Ketel Marte hanging out there, batting leadoff, the best possible matchup ever. But he's 6'6". I mean, it's good pricing.
You can fit like 2 whole players in between the 2 of them. Like, it's wild.
Yeah, it is very odd. So I am going to be playing Mr. York with an E at the end. I think Brendan Rodgers is a good GPP pivot. I think Cronenworth at 4K is a decent GPP pivot, but this position is pretty ugly. So I would just go all the way down or all the way up in cash games or single entry.
Yeah.
If you're not stacking a different team. Sorry.
Sure. Okay. Let's go to third base then.
All right, so I'm not gonna pay 5,300 for Suarez. If he beats me, he beats me. It's just, I don't know. He's kind of just not some guy that I really want to rely on. I'd much rather play Ryan McMahon batting fourth. I'd rather play Manny Machado. I wouldn't mind playing Isaac Paredes either. Eric Wagaman at 2,700. I think he's viable in all formats. He's my favorite punt out of the group. So I'm fading Suarez. It doesn't mean that you guys have to. Certainly have him if you have multiple Arizona stacks, but he's not going to be in my single entry team or my cash game team.
Okay. Cheese, your thoughts at third?
Also pretty similar. Like, sure, play Suarez, but he's not really a standout. Like, he's not a standout in the way that Marte is at second. It's like, sure, it's fine. Like, I wouldn't argue with you if he was your top guy. I think I prefer McMahon straight up. And with ownership considered and salary, I prefer Machado, Alec Boehm, and Paredes.
Okay. Then I believe we get to go to shortstop, Cheese.
So Bobby Witt is a very interesting spend up. We kind of don't know what's happening with the Tigers. Like, Reese Olson has been on the IL, and like, I guess I don't know if we're getting the real Reese Olson or if we're getting like 3 innings. Like, I feel like this might just be a Tigers bullpen game, and we're probably not playing enough Royals if that's the case. So I do like spending up on Witt. I think Neto and Dansby Swanson are my next 2 favorites just for salary purposes. And that's kind of it outside of stacks.
Okay. Tim, your thoughts at short?
Yeah, I just talk about Olsen real quick. I think this is going to be just like 55 or 60 pitches for him. That's just my opinion. So I think we are going to get to some of this Detroit bullpen. But either way, I mean, it's actually my favorite play is Zach Neto at 4,400. I'm playing him in cash, and I'm playing him in single entry. I really like Willie Adames also. That range is my favorite. I don't mind Dansby Swanson at all at 4K. If you want him to be your cash game shortstop, that's fine. But yeah, I mean, Bobby Witt is obviously always a good play, but I can't get up to him. I can't go that high.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Take me to the outfield, Tim.
Yeah, so Corbin Carroll, the tater of the day so far. He's the best overall play on the entire slate, in my opinion. Batting second, he's 6K. He's a must play in cash games. Definitely have him on your cash game team. He's going to be on my cash game team and my single entry team. Pavin Smith batting fifth, 3,500. He does have pinch hit risk, about 35% according to the bat, but this matchup is so good, I don't really care. So I'm loading up at Pavin Smith at 3,500. Excellent value with him. Jock Peterson, we see all the tags on Jock Peterson, 4,900. Absolute smash play. So like these Arizona outfielders are really the top overall plays on the slate. That shouldn't be any surprise to anybody. I think on DK anyway, you can't do this on FanDuel, but I think on DK, getting some exposure to this San Diego Houston game, or getting exposure to this Philly Milwaukee game. So guys like Kyle Schwarber, Jordan, Tatis, to just like replace randomly in those Arizona stacks as like one-offs, I think is a really strong GPP play.
Okay, good stuff. Cheese, your thoughts there in the outfield?
Yeah, because of the Arizona guys, like we're going to get some ridiculously low ownership on superstar hitters. Like this will be as low as you ever get Ohtani against a good lefty. But even like Alvarez and Schwarber are in decent spots, and just everyone's going to play Carroll and Jock and McCarthy. So I'm kind of going on my way to play a little more Schwarber and Alvarez at least. And then along with the Pavin Smith, sort of in that mid-tier, I'm playing some Melendez, Brandon Marsh, Pete Crow, Armstrong, Jesse Winker, Jordan Beck. Like I don't love any of it, but I don't want to just be playing all the Pavin Smith in the world either.
Yeah. Okay, guys, the people want some home run calls. That is the thing that they very much so enjoy, and that's the thing that we give them. So why don't y'all take a little moment, just contemplate a few names, and in the meantime, I'll pay some bills. RG Premium, got to sign up. NFL Premium, it's going down right now. Non-premium users can get $100 off their NFL Premium subscription. All you have to do is click through the banner on RotoGrinders. I mean, Cheese won a bunch of money. Essentially, what did you do in college football, Cheese? You just...
I can tell you exactly what I did. Yeah. I read the main article. I made some notes. I played the top stack out of that article, and then I clicked. I didn't even look at all the names. I just clicked on the expert tags on Lineup HQ and used entirely guys with the dots by their names. I'd never heard of any of them.
Is it anyone 50 grand? Like
yeah,
this is.
I just simply read the content, made the lineup based solely on it, and won.
Yeah. So if you're not signing up for RotoGrinders Premium, you should, because that 50 grand maybe could have been yours. So make sure you are signing up for that. We do have a deal going on. As I mentioned, $100 off your NFL sub if you are a non-premium user. Now, if you can also get a 6-month combo subscription, exclusive price $469.99. That'll save you $250 as opposed to buying 6 individual months of combo premium. $120 for 1 month of RG combo premium. Or if you want a test run, 3-day pass is $19.99. It is still the best deal in the industry. Let's drop some bomb calls on them. Tim, you can start us off with some taters. I already gave us one. I believe it was Corbin Carroll.
Yes, it was. I'm going to go William Contreras plus 560 on FanDuel, and I'm going to go Sal Perez, who is. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm going to go Bobby Witt plus 560 on FanDuel.
Okay, Cheese, you got a few names for me?
Sure. Up top, we'll go Kyle Schwarber. And mid-tier, we'll do Michael Busch. And then how about a cheap Jordan Beck?
How about it? No Ye Old York for a bomb? Can Ye Old York hit us a bomb, Cheese?
I would not expect it. Now, like, the Pirates are facing a ground ball pitcher. And York is more of a contact speed guy. I mean, he's got a very teeny bit of power.
Okay.
I would not play him for a home run. You play him because he gets on base and scores.
Yeah.
I really hope he does hit a home run. That'd be amazing.
That would be.
I hope for you that he does.
Yeah.
But for DFS, like he's going to get on base, and he can steal a base, he can score, and he's free.
Okay. Let's see. We got some questions coming in. We've got about 16 minutes here until we hit the lock. So we'll start with this question from Jay. And Cheese, I'll give it to you. Your favorite DK and FanDuel single entry stack?
So we'll just say it's not Arizona. I guess it's just the Cubs. I feel like they're kind of obvious too, but maybe not.
Okay. Tim, I'm going to come to you. You mentioned Savali. The question is DK GPP thoughts on Savali at SP2. Is that maybe like a deeper field thing, or you're okay with it in any format?
I'm definitely not okay with it in any format. I think it is more of a large field play, but as a large field play, I really don't hate it that much.
Okay, good stuff. We'll go to JMVP. Tim, right back to you. DK single entry. I'm stacking Arizona. Would it be better to mini stack with San Diego or KC?
I think both are fine. I guess I would lean KC.
Okay. Berg says FanDuel Cash Cheese. He's got 27 hundo in the util on FanDuel. What do you got for him there?
I would probably Nico Cavadas that one.
Okay. Mochi says, Cheese, did you ever get in a fight with a band member on stage like Perry Farrell did? I think this was it Quiet Riot or there was some group.
It wasn't Quiet Riot, I don't think.
There was some older guys getting in each other's face. It seemed to me like drugs were involved. I don't know. I just that's the vibe that I got from it. Alcohol or drugs was involved. Cheese, have you ever been in a band? Jane's Addiction. Jane's Addiction, not Quiet Riot. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't have to get in a fight. I just stare them down, and they know better.
That's fair. You are a giant. It has been said that you are roughly 8 feet 6 inches tall. No one wants to mess with that. So that's fair. So many people. Is Jane's Addiction. All right. It was Jane's Addiction. I get it.
Wow. The people knew that.
They knew that. Like everybody knew that. They were on it. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. DK GPP. Tides. Cronenworth or Xander?
Cronenworth.
Can we pronounce the X Xander, or just stick with the Z sound?
Please do the X.
Okay. You can do whatever you want.
Xander. Tim, 2 lineups, 2 different pitchers, FanDuel GPP. This is always a fun question for me. 2 lineups, 2 different pitchers. Who do you got?
I would go with Detmers as one, and I'd probably just go with Imanaga. I mean, they're both chalky, but I really like them both.
Okay. What else do we have? Doing pretty good. Jumping in the YouTube. By the way, if you're watching this on YouTube and you're trying to remember how much you paid for it, it's free. And all that we ask is you hit that thumbs up for us, like, subscribe. We want the eyeballs so we can keep the show free for you. And so that advertisers are like, oh, wow, this is great. We're going to advertise. This is so great. And you just got to hit the thumbs up. That's your part in the whole equation. Let's see. TT says that we got in screaming matches all the time. Cheese, you were more of a solo artist than in a band, right?
Correct. So anytime I played with a band, it was like the Dave Potts band. So I would just hire musicians for that gig or that tour. So like it was never like an actual band experience.
Yeah.
Because he kept fighting with his bandmates on stage.
Yeah. Eventually they were like, we're out. This guy's too rough.
Yeah. Well, you can't really fight with you when it's the Dave Potts band.
That's the thing. Like they are working for me.
Yeah, they're not allowed to. You're paying them. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Let's see what else we've got. I'm scrolling up just a little bit because there were 90 comments saying Jane's Addiction. So I'm seeing if there were any questions here. Eric says, are we stacking the A's today, Cheese? This is not even the guy who usually stacks the A's, is it? Or is it?
It is.
It is. Okay.
So I have a couple of mini stacks mostly. They should hit a couple home runs. Okay. I don't love the stack, but I do think they hit a couple home runs.
Okay, TJ.
So that's actually bootleg head chopper pretending to be Eric Johnson.
How do we keep up? How do we keep up with all
Amazing.
of this? Yeah, this is so deep. This is Inception levels of being different people. Let's see. Why did FanDuel leave the San Diego game out of their pool? Cheese, why did they do it? Did you call them? Did you ask them?
Did not call, did not ask. Do not know.
Okay. All right. We'll go to Christopher's question. Tim, FanDuel's single entry stack Detmers with Arizona and Detroit. Okay. I think it's Detmers with Arizona, Detroit, Freeman, or Arizona, KC, Suzuki. I think that's how it was supposed to be worded.
Yeah, it's Arizona, KC, Suzuki.
Very good. Okay. FanDuel cashed him right back to you. 27 hundo in the util. Was that one that we did on Discord already? It was.
I believe we already answered that question.
Yeah. Cheese, do you remember who it was? 2,700 in the util on FanDuel.
Nico Cavadas.
Okay, very good. Tim, right back to you. Single entry stack on DK for the win. Who are you picking?
Yeah, if you don't want Arizona, I think the Cubs are my next favorite. So yeah, Cubs.
Okay. You're doing great. I don't know whose bootleg head chopper's dragging your name through the mud. Your picks are dragging your name through the mud. Your survivor picks. I'm only going to be ahead of him for like one more week, and then he's going to surpass me. So I gotta get the jabs in while I can. Let's see.
Chop wasn't even here, and Kurt called and was like, Kevin is ragging on you now. He had to come in.
Raw dickhead.
As well he should. Like, you defend yourself to this weatherman who's just throwing shade.
And he did hit the survivor pick this week, which actually I think it was another week that was kind of a bloodbath out there. So good job. Yeah, I'm pretty sure for survivor you're supposed to get a lot of them in a row. So losing the first week I think is bad, but good job getting back on track. We're proud of you for that. Let's see what else we've got here. Any more questions? No, we're doing pretty good in the questions department. We still have 10 minutes until lock. Here we go. Pavin or McCarty, Cheese?
I prefer McCarthy over Pavin.
Okay. Tim, is an Oakland stack viable tonight, either FanDuel or DK?
I mean, Cheese says they're going to hit a couple home runs, but I would not stack them. If you want to hunt one-offs, fine, but I don't like to stack.
Okay. I made it. Says, is Mania viable on FanDuel or DK, Tim?
I mean, definitely on DK. He's kind of at an awkward price on FanDuel, where he's at 10.8, where Skeens is only $700 more. It was a way better play, or you could go lower to Imanaga. So it's kind of like getting squeezed by those two guys. Mm-hmm. But if you land there, I think that's fine. But I would prefer Skeens or Imanaga.
Okay. TJ says, I made a Roth style lineup, no research, just built based on the shows. My question is, do you mean you did it during the shows like I do? Or also that you went with two horribly cheap pitchers and all the bats? Which Roth style are we talking?
Made it during the show without any research, but also, I mean, I'm using Cannon, who's 5K, so kind of a full-on Roth style lineup.
I approve. It's the most fun way to get things done, man. Let's see what else we've got. A couple more questions. By the way, we're opening up the questions. It can be about Monday Night Football. I don't know if anyone has looked at anything for that. Tim, Cheese, are we ready for these questions?
I built 20 lineups. All 20 are going to lose, but I built them.
Yeah, I feel that qualifies us as ready to give out information. Sure, it can be about Monday Night Football. It can be about baseball. It can most certainly be about dinner because I'm starving and we still have 7 minutes to kill. If the questions dry out, we're just going to end the show. I'm going to go eat. I'm not just going to sit here quietly. Let's see what we've got. I swear I saw more questions. Here we go. Tim, Skeens with Cubs and Milwaukee for oodles and oodles and noodles to win it all. What do you think?
I don't mind that at all.
Okay. Cheese, Jim's got a question for you. Schwarber or Tatis is, I think, what he's asking. Although what he did ask was Schwarber or Titas.
I would go Schwarber. kind of like them both.
Yeah. Okay. The best type of cheese. Obviously, I will not ask Cheese this question because he does not particularly like cheese. But Tim is actually a cheese connoisseur, so he is the perfect guy to ask this question. Your favorite type?
Who asked the question, Roth?
Wendy. Wendy asked the question. Wendy in the YouTube chat. Your favorite type of cheese, Tim? We've actually had this question before, but I don't quite remember your answer.
Yeah, sharp cheddar, Gouda. I'm seeing the chat. All great, all great. Yeah. I would go fresh mozzarella.
Fresh mozzarella is delicious. Sharp cheddar, delicious. I think those are my answers. I've got Parmesan, like Parmigiano Reggiano. I don't know if that counts.
There aren't many, if any, cheeses that I don't like. I mean, really,
I can't do blue cheese. I can't do blue cheese or anything that's like blue cheese related. Anything that's got that funk, like ugh.
Yeah, I understand, but I still like it.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do, but it can ruin a whole meal. It's just that flavor is so sharp and sour and weird. It just, I don't know, can't do it. Cheese? Oh, you don't do any cheese, of course you don't do that.
But especially not blue cheese.
Okay, good. Let's see. That got us a little bit of time. Got a few more questions. Here we go. DK single entry cheese, Manaya and Ward, or Skeens and Melendez. I'm stacking San Diego.
Skeens, Melendez.
Okay. Tim, coming to you. DK to large field tournaments. In my gut feeling about is my gut feeling, there we go. Okay. Is my gut feeling about Spencer Arrighetti being a good play tonight justified, or is it just that I have gas from my hot wings earlier? It's a good question. Is it justified, or does he have gas from hot wings?
I think it's the gas from the hot wings.
Yeah.
I don't think Arrighetti is a very good play today.
Okay. Angel says, any MLB or NFL props? Tim, you gave out a home run call right off the top of the show that you liked, if that counts.
Yeah, I do not have any NFL props. I usually just steal the props from Scores and Odds, which are amazing, by the way.
Which you should be doing as well.
Yes, right.
Yeah. Saquon Barkley over 19.5 receiving yards.
Oh, that's a lock. That's a lot. Over 19.5 receiving yards. That's a lock. Love it.
In the first play? Is that
right?
What
are we kidding? He's going to have over 50 receiving yards. Like what is that? Let's see. What do we got here? The port wine cheese that comes in some people hate that and they think it's terrible. I think it's pretty good. The port wine cheese and little balls. Sometimes it's got little like nuts in it. Let's see. People in the chat giving out some props, which I love. London over 55.5 receiving yards. Dotson for a TD. Let's see if we got any more QQs. Here we go. FanDuel GPP cheese. Your favorite Cubs. I believe you said the Cubs were your favorite stack if you're not counting Arizona. So now we need to know your favorite Cubs.
Suzuki, Happ, Bush, Paredes, Bellinger.
Very good. That is 5. That is as many as I believe you are allowed to play. We are 3 minutes until lock, and we've got a football question from Jim. He says, I've got Hurts, Barkley, Smith, Goddard, Koo, Elliott. I don't think that's a question.
But he put question marks after it. You tell us. I'm Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, right. He said it was a question, and then he ended it with question marks, and yet nothing about it is a question. It is just a statement. I have Hurts, Barkley, Smith, Goddard, Koo, Elliott. All right. Good luck. That sounds.
And we do not accept full lineups in Canada or in chat.
Yeah. I don't know. Is that a thing? Is that still a thing?
It is actually a thing. It is actually a thing. Yeah.
Okay. It is a thing.
Yeah. You shouldn't post full lineups in chat or in Discord.
Okay. We can get in trouble, and we want to keep the show free and not get in trouble. So please don't. Thank you. Is Paris Campbell called up? Who is Paris Campbell?
I am not seeing him in projections. I'm not positive about this, but I'm not seeing him in projections. So.
I have to ask an embarrassing question. What sport is that?
It is football.
Okay, I thought I recognized the name from football, but when I heard called up, it made me think of baseball.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey,
a reminder for those who don't know, we do also have an NFL show coming up right after this at 7:40 with Head Chopper and Chop. And Squirrel.
Okay.
Head Chopper and Chop are the same person.
They are, yeah. Or they might not be because there's like 3 imposter chops in the chat, but generally they are the same person.
According to a quick search, I'm going to say Paris Campbell has been added to the roster.
Yeah, he is in projections now. Okay,
Yeah.
my bad.
Okay. There you go.
Yep.
All right. Let's see if we've got any more QQs. If not, we're going to close things out. I think we're going to close things out about a minute or 2 early here. So let's bounce. We've got more stuff coming your way. Smash the like button on your way out. And keep in mind, we've got more NFL content coming up roughly 30 minutes from now. So for Tim, for Cheese, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you later on today. You have been crushed.